WTOL 11 News at 11. I'm Michael Sandlin. Thank you so much for spending some of your evening with us. We'll get to all of our top stories and more in just a moment, but first, let's bring in meteorologist John Birchfield. John, the WTOL 11 weather team has issued an alert day with dangerous cold looming ahead in the forecast. When will those temperatures start to drop?
Yeah, Michael, it's really Monday that the temperatures are going to start to plunge and the wind chills go right along with it. We are going to feel like we are below zero by Monday afternoon and Monday night, and there is going to be the chance that we get some blowing snow showers as well. A strong Arctic cold front is going to be sweeping in along with a low pressure system. It's going to bring some cold Canadian air to the region, and that is going to really be arriving on Monday and into Tuesday morning. That alert day is in effect. Temperatures at 15 degrees around daybreak are going to be dropping throughout the course of the day. Tuesday morning is going to be dangerously cold, although the sunshine in the afternoon is going to provide some reprieve. By midweek, it is going to be windy and warmer with the chance of some light snow. So single-digit wind chills for tomorrow. Nothing too crazy. By Monday, though, we start to see that drop off. By Monday evening, feeling 10 to 15 below, and into Tuesday morning, that is when the cold is really going to be dangerous. And after the 3-day weekend, there is the chance that we do see an extension of that long weekend with many impacts to schools as a result of that dangerous cold. I'll show you how long the cold lasts coming up in your full 10-day forecast.
All right, John, we'll see you then. And because of those frigid temperatures John was just talking about, emergency warming centers will be open in Toledo through the weekend and into Monday. According to the city, St. Paul's Methodist Church will be open Saturday through Monday from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And due to the closures on Martin Luther King Jr. Day this Monday, emergency daytime warming centers will be open Sunday and Monday. The daytime center will be at St. Paul's Community Center. A man is behind bars tonight, arrested and charged in a North Toledo shooting that happened back in November. 27-year-old Trevone Robinson is facing a felonious assault charge in connection to the shooting on Dixie Drive off of Manhattan Boulevard, which left a 32-year-old hurt. Two others, 24-year-old Jesse McMahon and 23-year-old Drayshawn Brown, were also arrested earlier this month for the same incident, but their charges have since been dropped. Robinson is also facing a gambling charge from October and a strangulation charge from a separate incident in December where he strangled a woman. Robinson is due back in court next Friday. Ohio lawmakers are taking a closer look at child care fraud with a new proposal that could impact thousands of families and providers. State Representative Josh Williams and Attorney General Dave Yost introduced the Child Care Fraud Prevention Act on Thursday. The bill comes after fraud allegations were sparked from Minnesota daycare centers and aims to protect taxpayer dollars. One major change would require cameras in publicly funded classrooms to verify attendance.
This legislation has a very simple premise. If the government is taking money from Ohio taxpayers and using it to fund child care, the government has a moral and legal obligation to protect that money and protect the children tied to those state funds.
Ohio has more than 5,200 publicly funded child care centers serving more than 100,000 children every day. The bill still needs to be assigned to a committee. Toledo City Council is working to get the rest of smart water meters installed with the hope of finishing up the project this year. Councilmember George Sarantu said the original goal was to have the meters installed by October of 2024, but the city still has 5,500 left to install. Sarantu recently proposed an amendment to have city employees trained to supervise installations, which he says will save the city and homeowners alike.
This is coming out of the Department of Public Utilities, and spending almost $1 million, that is going to obviously have an effect on what consumers are paying. And our water rates and our sewer rates especially are high right now, and we can't keep going back to the ratepayers and saying, well, we need to raise rates because we've hired a private company.
The amendment is co-sponsored by Council members Mac Driscoll and Sir Sandra McPherson. City Council is expected to vote on it on Tuesday. A local musician and small business owner is facing the fight of his life, and his community is answering the call in a powerful way. Dominique O'Neill has the story for us. Dom, go ahead and set the scene.
Well, Michael, a group of about 100 people were at the Village Idiot today to support Dave Classic Choir, the bassist for Boogie Matrix Mechanism, and owner of a popular food truck who was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. As he endures an intense chemotherapy treatment plan, Dave, who is a father, husband, musician, and businessman, is being forced to step back from the music, his business, and the community he supported for decades. In response, local musicians, artists, vendors, and venues have united to launch Concert for Classic, a series of benefit shows donating 100% of the proceeds directly to Dave and his family.
It's no surprise to see this turnout in our community, and it shows where Toledo's heart is.
One of Dave's cousins says she is overwhelmed by the outpouring of support her family is receiving.
He means the world to myself, and to see so many people supporting this beautiful soul is tremendous, because he truly is a light in this world.
One of his fellow friends and musician Brian Bell says they are trying to stay strong through these challenging times.
We've really taken this on and just want to be there for them and stay positive and continue doing what we're doing and living life while helping our friend and family through this time.
Dave's been in the community over 20 years. He's made a huge, impact on the community, and it's amazing to see everybody come together in the Toledo Mommy to support him. He's an amazing musician, amazing human being. It's really great to see the house packed tonight.
It's a testimony to our community that the power of people and the power of prayer can make changes. I know that life can be really tough for a lot of people at times, so to not feel alone in those moments it's beyond appreciated.
And that event ran until 5 today, and I've been told they raised at least $6,000. If you want to catch the next one, it will be at the Switchboard in downtown Toledo on February 22nd. Reporting in studio, Dominique O'Neill, WTOL 11.
All right, thank you, Dom. A group of local union steelworkers held their annual pancake breakfast this morning. USW Local 1-346 held the fundraiser to give to local organizations like sports teams, family centers, and union members. Organizers say it's a great way for the union to get their name out to the community while also giving back.
It's also just nice to see people in the community. We do a lot of charity events where we give back to the community. Our Women in Steel do a backpack drive and a coat drive. And when you give things to those in need, it's just a rewarding experience.
Leaders anticipate they brought in over $1,000 from the fundraiser today. CK Sweets Coffee and Bake Shop in downtown Swanton celebrated its 6th birthday this morning with a grand reopening and new menu items. Reporter Faith Zahowski has that story.
3, go.
Yep, there you go.
We have a full espresso bar, we have smoothies, we have a huge menu to pick from. So this is my retirement from the military.
Kat Kenya served in the Air Force for over 20 years. As she approached her retirement at 39, she said she was looking for what's next.
Baking has always been a passion of mine since I was a little girl, and so I just wanted to bring something to Swanton that we didn't have by opening a bake shop.
Kat named it CK Sweets Coffee and Bake Shop, opening her doors in January of 2020, right before COVID. With a tough first year in business because of the pandemic, she says the community's support to this day means that much more.
A lot of the small businesses in Swanton do support each other behind the scenes, and we all kind of help each other through tough times. We bounce ideas off of each other.
Delray Bush, executive director at the Swanton Area Chamber of Commerce, says Kenya's shop is one of many that makes the downtown Swanton small business community thrive.
Small businesses make up what's great about our town. We are small but mighty. We love CK Sweets. They regularly contribute to chamber activities. We hold monthly meetups here, and Kat is always amazing in giving back to our community and being a veteran-owned business.
This year marks 6 years in business for the bake shop, and Kenya is celebrating with a grand reopening after major construction on the building, which she bought in 2024.
We knew that the building needed a lot of love. There was some structural issues, there was some water damage, there was very little insulation. So we just kind of had a contractor come in and fix all of those issues. We wanted a fresh, clean, kind of modern, but still like homey, comfortable, welcoming feel.
New menu items have also been added, including acai bowls. Kat says she's excited to continue her labor of love to bring smiles and laughter to her community and family for many years to come.
This is my dream, and they've helped me make it come true.
Reporting in Swanton, Faith Sahowski, WTOL 11.
Now turning to Findlay, the Marathon Center for the Performing Arts is marking its 10th year in the community. A gala was held at the center tonight to celebrate the milestone. The MCPA has hosted Broadway shows, concerts, and local artists throughout the decade. The space was formed out of a historic building that was once the site of Findlay High School and Central Middle School. The school was nearly demolished after closing back in 2013, so this milestone is extra special.
This community raised $18 million to turn it into this beautiful center. And they really paid tribute to what it was. People come in still and they're like, oh, your offices are our old choir room. Or, yeah, my locker was right there. And people really appreciate that history. But then we added this whole new section that's all a gorgeous performing arts center. So they really melded it well. And people are excited to see their old high school be the home to such great art shows.
MCPA leaders say they're in the midst of a strategic planning process to keep the space growing for another decade. Coming up, Greenland protests explode as Trump pushes plans to take over the Arctic island. This following NATO warnings, potential tariffs against NATO allies, and rising concern on Capitol Hill.
And our next big weather impact is the dangerous cold Monday and Tuesday, with wind chills dropping -10 to even -20. I'll show you when the worst of the cold arrives in your forecast coming up. Welcome back in. Our next big weather impact is going to be the cold as we get an Arctic front sweeping through the area early next week. In particular, late Monday and Tuesday morning, going to bring dangerous cold to the region. Wind chills plunging -10 to even as low as -20 northwest of Toledo. And there will be some snow showers to go along with it, along with a gusty breeze. Temperatures have dropped to 13 in the Toledo metro, down to 11 in Bowling Green, 10 in Ottawa. With the clearing skies, that has enabled the mercury to plunge plummet tonight. You can see on satellite all the clouds have exited off to the southeast of us, and there is actually going to be some sunshine out the door Sunday morning. However, it is going to be a cold and sunny start to the day. Now, our next weather system is northwest of us. We did get a cold front that moved through earlier, and that's what was responsible for the drop in temperatures that you may have felt throughout the day today. Now, let's look off to the northwest, as that is our next weather maker. A strong cold front is going to bring some Canadian air to the region, and that is going to envelop the area on Monday. So starting off your Sunday, there is going to be a decent amount of sunshine waking up. Cloud cover is going to be on the increase throughout the day as we set the clock into motion, and there will be some snow showers moving in well after sunset. A few of those could contain gusty winds and briefly coat roadways and any untreated surfaces. Monday morning, starting off with a few flurries, a gusty breeze, and that Arctic cold front is actually going to drop our temperatures throughout the day. So it's going to be progressively colder as the afternoon and the evening unfold. That big impact includes sub-zero wind chills. We could potentially go 36 plus hours where it feels like it is below zero. Midweek, we get a clipper system that is going to bring us breezy conditions, but not quite as cold for your Wednesday plans. So let's talk about those wind chills. They are going to start to turn extreme Monday evening, feeling like it is about 11 below in the Toledo metro. And then Monday night and into Tuesday morning, that is when some of the most dangerous wind chills arrive. And after the 3-day weekend, there is the chance we do see some impacts to schools that further extends that long weekend as we head towards Tuesday morning. So here's a graph of those wind chills. Monday morning, that Arctic cold front arrives shortly after daybreak. 7 a.m., the wind chill's still above zero, but by 12 noon, we're below zero. And look at those evening wind chills as the feels like falls well below zero. So it's going to be getting colder throughout the day on Monday. In fact, the morning is probably going to be the least frigid point of the day before the mercury starts to plunge heading into the afternoon and the evening time frame. That alert day Monday and into Tuesday morning as well, with extreme cold on the horizon, and the long range outlook, it continues to point towards below average weather conditions. We do see temperatures climb back to the 30s on Wednesday, some snow and wind possible with the clipper system, and into next weekend, it is still looking frigid. Not necessarily any huge winter storms on the horizon, but there will be some light snow chances essentially every day into next weekend, with below average temperatures likely through the end of January. Michael.
All right. Thank you, John. The Justice Department is now investigating Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey over an alleged conspiracy to impede federal agents. Christian Benavides reports this as tensions continue to escalate in Minnesota.
The investigation into two elected Democrats by the Justice Department, first reported by CBS News, stems at least in part from statements made by Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey about ICE and Border Patrol officers deployed to Minneapolis. It's not clear which comments investigators are looking at, but both have been critical of the mass deployment of 3,000 federal agents to the Twin Cities, particularly on the heels of the death of Renee Good and the shooting of a Venezuelan migrant. Both incidents, DHS says, were in self-defense.
We have ICE agents throughout our city and throughout our state who, along with Border Control, are creating chaos.
We must protest loudly, urgently, but also peacefully.
Investigators are looking at an alleged conspiracy to impede federal officers. On X, Mayor Frey called the investigation an attempt to intimidate, while Governor Walz says it is an authoritarian tactic. Protests have escalated this week, leading to clashes between protesters and federal officers. At one point, protesters ripped out a large box from the trunk of an unmarked FBI vehicle. The crowd tore through a second vehicle too. Amid the chaotic scenes, President Trump reiterated he's willing to invoke the Insurrection Act.
I don't think there's any reason right now to use it, but if I needed it, I'd use it.
Also this week, a family got caught between protesters and ICE agents who deployed a canister of tear gas. Their children were in the car, including a 6-month-old.
He was like lifeless, foam or bubbles coming out of his mouth. I had to give him mouth-to-mouth and CPR. And all I remember is, like, between every breath, I was saying, I'm gonna give you every breath I have until you get yours back.
In a statement, DHS said the family was not targeted. Minneapolis police helped get their children to medical care. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
Thousands in Greenland and Denmark are protesting the U.S. proposal to take over the Arctic island. Thousands turned out in Greenland's capital of Nuuk. And earlier in the week, Denmark and other NATO countries sent troops to Greenland to participate in military exercises, an apparent signal of NATO opposition to President Trump's designs to take Greenland one way or another. Any American military move on Greenland could trigger Article 5 of the NATO treaty, which states that an attack on one NATO territory is an attack on all. Meanwhile, President Trump's threats are drawing criticism from both sides of the political aisle on Capitol Hill.
Basically severing this whole agreement and invading an ally, a democracy, it's immoral, it's wrong.
The thought of starting a war or invading a NATO ally is unthinkable.
According to a new CNN poll, an American takeover of Greenland is also unpopular amongst Americans, showing that 75% oppose the U.S. attempting to take control of the island. And President Trump is ramping up his threats today that tariffs will be placed on Denmark and numerous other NATO allies who resist the idea of Greenland being under U.S. control. Trump posting on Truth Social that a 10% tariff will be placed on February 1st on any and all goods sent to the U.S., stating, quote, until such time as a deal is reached for the complete and total purchase of Greenland.
All right, when we return, Saturday was a Bowling Green doubleheader. We break down the men's and women's games, plus another wrestling tournament this weekend. We break down the Maumee Bay Classic next in sports. Sports brought to you by Jim White Honda. Welcome back. Both Toledo men and women were off this Saturday, but down in Bowling Green, the men and women played back-to-back at the Stroh Center. And let's start with the men, hosting Eastern Michigan. We begin in the first half. Falcons with the ball. Josiah Shackelford goes up with authority. Huge slam. BG with the lead. Second half now, Falcons in transition. Meyer Wall fires from deep, gets fouled and sinks the triple. A 4-point play from Wall. He was on fire in this game. Hit 5 triples and finished with a game-high 25 points. BG was leading by as much as 21 in the second half, but Eastern would come back to eventually lead by 5 with a few minutes left. So the Falcons had to retake the lead. And with less than 90 seconds to go, BG down 1. Javante Campbell driving inside, lays it in for the lead. Bowling Green holds off the Eagle comeback and wins it by a final score of 85-79.
credit to our guys. We did a good job scoring the basketball today, and we want to get a few more stops to really feel good about it. But Easton had something to say with that too, with their shot making today. But we're ultimately happy with the way we closed it out, and any MAC win is a good win.
After the men, the Falcon women were in action hosting Miami. First half, Paige Kohler on the wing. Catch and shoot three. She's going to knock it down. BG leading early. Later, Redhawks in transition. Shot is swatted by Lauren Gherkin, the Liberty Benton grad, keeping Miami off the scoreboard. But the Redhawks would eventually take the lead in the final minutes. Bowling Green needed an answer. Final seconds, Falcons down 2. Joniah Bland-Fitzpatrick in the corner for the win. The shot rims out. BG loses a heartbreaker at home, 51-49 the final.
We got to execute a little bit better on offense. Our defense is holding strong, and we got to prepare for Ohio.
I think down the stretch, there just has to be more composure, especially with their intensity defensively. They're playing up under us, pressuring the ball, pressuring off ball. But I think we just need to work to handle pressure better, and I think the coaches did a good job of preparing us to do that. It's just about us executing that on the floor.
At the high school level, how about the Delta Panthers? 13-1 so far this season, looking to make it 14-1. But Toledo Christian had something to say about that. Katie French going to drain the triple here. Game high 14 points for the senior, and the Eagles are up early. On the other end, Olivia Mooring misses the first attempt, but gets the rebound, goes back up for the hoop and the harm. On the very next possession, Delta defense going to dig in. Addison Wise jumps the pass, eventually finds Anna Lohman ready to shoot, and she's going to knock it down. From then on, the Panthers were in control. In transition, Mackenzie Kruger going to connect with Wise on the other side, and Delta adds another win, 47-34 the final. The Panthers are now 14-1 on the season. Shifting to wrestling, Clay High School hosting its annual Maumee Bay Classic, one of the best wrestling tournaments in the state. And just like last week at the pit, Perrysburg has 7 athletes in the finals, including Aiden Dodd in the 120-pound weight class. He's wasting no time. Scores a takedown just 10 seconds in, and he'd win by tech fall. Penn State commit Gray Burnett in the 126-pound title match, reversing out here before going on to win. And how about this? At the 138-pound weight class, 2 jacket teammates battling each other. Uriah Lopez taking down Chase Davis to win. Both wrestlers helping Perrysburg to the team championship. To the 144-pound weight class, Garrison Wisner giving the hometown Eagles a first-place individual finish. And in a rematch from last week's pit, Benjamin James from Sandusky St. Mary Central Catholic gets revenge with this takedown here with just 10 seconds to go in the match. Big win for James. Here's his reaction and some others who won titles Saturday afternoon.
I saw him pulling on his knee when he went, and I just saw him breathing hard. I knew he was gassed, and I knew I had the gas tank to do it, so I was setting it up. I was posting on his head, faking, and then when I saw time was right, I shot.
I feel great. I mean, doing what I'm doing in the room, and coach is pushing me to my fullest, my max, and getting ready for college next year, so it's just more motivation. It was awesome. I mean, family, friends coming out and watching me, putting on a show. That's what I always do, so yeah.
Well, it's just kind of like practice. They just let us go. They don't really say anything. Maybe you look at them and they're like, okay, good job. They just encouraging you to keep scoring points and pushing the offense. But it's just like practice pretty much, just wrestling through positions.
Also happening tonight, the Walleye were in action on the road in Iowa. Toledo ended up going to overtime and lost in a shootout 3-2. They'll be back in action Sunday afternoon in Bloomington. And finally, some high school football news. Mike Vickers has stepped down as the head football coach at Delta. This was Vickers' 3rd and final time leading the Panthers after 45 years coaching, where he led a handful of different teams. Assistant coach and head wrestling coach Mark Nagel will take over the football program. But for now, that's all for sports. We'll be right back.
Welcome back in. Now, this is something for the whole family to enjoy. The National Museum of the Great Lakes is offering free admission this weekend during its annual Community Appreciation Days. The museum says these appreciation days are held in the spirit of community, service, and reflection inspired by the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. So, you can get in the museum free of charge tomorrow and Monday. Then the museum will close until the 31st for its annual cleaning and maintenance. But John, of course, the question is the weather going to be nice to want to go outside to explore those boats?
You know, not if you're out on the Great